Hi, I am Savannah J. Goins, author of Young Adult Fantasy, and today I'm going to do the Read Your Old Cringe-worthy Writing tag. I was tagged by Holly Davis for this. Here's a little nugget of goodness right here. And I actually scribbled a lot when I was younger and wrote a lot of silly things, but you got to start somewhere. So, first of all, I'm going to read from my very fancy uh, Poems and Scribbles of Young Savannah book, which is so fancy that it has a table of contents. Can you see that there? Yeah, this is young teenage me. I had a lot of friends, you can tell. So, Notes on Eden. This was one of my book ideas, and I start by saying, there is some dispute on how the earth was created. Every culture has a different idea, though some are strikingly similar. I am here, however, to inform you that the earth wasn't created before Eden, as most believe. They think that the earth was created first, and then Eden was planted within it. But no. Eden was created first. It was the whole world, designed to grow with the population instead of being overpopulated and polluted by man's carelessness. But that was before man was careless, before the word existed, and yes, even before the meaning of the word existed. And then why, you ask, was the earth ever created? When we could be living in Eden, why are we here? Well, let's go back a ways, a good long ways back in time, all the way back to the beginning. Dun dun dun. So that is from 2010. I was a young teenager then, and it's one of the scribbles. So here we have the very first scribblings of what became the Gwythinian. So this, let's see, I don't see a date on this anywhere. This was, I think, also from 2010. It was originally called Under the Highway because I got the idea for the series from driving down from Indiana to Georgia to visit family for Christmas and seeing the giant icicles like on the side of the road, on the mountains. I found those really inspirational when I was like 14. I got the first idea for it, and I was going to call it Under the Highway because since I was driving on the highway, it made sense that everything that was going to happen was going to be under the highway. So let's see. Here's my first little page of ideas. Under the highway, a world reachable through a small cave in a cliff next to a highway covered in icicles. The world is underneath the highway, deep underground. A young boy is running away. This was when Enzy was going to be a boy at first. For some reason, I started writing her as a boy and didn't actually decide to make her a girl until way later. So, walking along the highway, the boy stops to look at icicles, sees something looking out from behind them. There is a creature like a large, rough-skinned newt with wings. It is big enough for a child to ride, but only just. The inside of its mouth is orange. It lives high up in the tree roots. That idea actually stuck. There is a river over which the highway runs, and in it is a small island which can be seen from the highway. There is a creek that runs through the island, and at one point it has a whirlpool. The whirlpool is another opening into the world. I've always been about portals. One type of creature in this world can see through rock at certain times, or in certain places, or at certain thicknesses, or certain types of rock. I wasn't sure. Maybe only if it places under... No, maybe only if it has water flowing over it. Icicle-covered mountains, mountains when it is raining, places under creeks or streams or even rivers. Maybe the creature's job is to protect the creatures above ground from going extinct due to logging and rock quarrying. That one didn't end up sticking. Maybe the creatures have found a mineral several years ago that can cause heat and warmth but not melt the ice. Water is not affected by it. Yeah, so that's the very first page from way back in the day, and about 2 things from this original idea made it into the book, but without those 2 things, there never would have been the book, so that's kind of cool. So the next one, this is the first book I actually remember trying to write, and it's called Walls of Crystal, which I thought was incredibly brilliant, and is actually not. But here's the first page of that. What in the world am I going to do now? 13-year-old Austin Brooks asked himself one morning. He was lying down in his bed, dreading the pre-algebra homework that was haunting him from his desk. He knew he had to do it eventually, but he couldn't bring himself to. He was busy throwing himself a pity party. It had only been a few hours since the teachers called his mother with the fact that he had failed his first semester within the first 2 months. He was mad at himself for screwing up again, but what was he supposed to do? He was absolutely out of options. His mom had tried countless tutors already, and he was yet again on the verge of getting held back. Why does pre-algebra exist? He whined. Dragging himself from his bed, he reluctantly crossed the room and seated himself at his desk. An hour passed. He glanced at the silver radio alarm clock perched on his nightstand. 6:15. Since his mother preferred eating a rather late dinner, he knew he had at least an hour with which to do whatever he chose. More homework was absolutely out of the question. There wasn't ever anything on TV, and his Xbox was broken. He considered doing something artsy, like sketching. He was really quite good with a pencil, but he couldn't think of any subject interesting enough to spend the time on. Glancing out the open window, he thought the woods looked unusually inviting. Maybe a walk through nature would be refreshing, he mused casually, because 13-year-olds muse casually about refreshing walks through the woods. Yeah, so he goes on to find some random stuff in the woods, and there's like a zoo underground because all the animals for me. So here is a last little fun thing. I was going through old stuff, and I saw a poem entitled "The Garbage Can Lid." The garbage can lid. Apparently I wrote a poem about a garbage can lid. I do not remember this at all. I think this was also in 2010 or 2012. I think this was a school assignment. The other ones were just me being nerdy and having a hobby of writing, but this one was actually a school assignment. I can't remember why, but I actually did not read this one before coming on to talk to you guys. So I read a little bit in the other ones first as I was trying to decide what old cringy writing to read, but I have not read this one yet, so this will be a surprise for me too. The Garbage Can Lid by Savannah Glass was my maiden name. Snow was freshly fallen, chilly was the air, the sky was overcast, snowflakes landed in my hair. I was 6 years old, the neighbors came to play, we laughed and threw white snowballs, they stayed and played all day. A new idea to my head came, to slide down this great big hill, but we had no skis, we had no sled, yet there's always a way when there's a will. The lid of an old garbage can was all that we could find, but it sufficed quite nicely for Tori, Matt, Drew, and I. We had so much fun that day, but one thing went askew. My toes had got quite frozen, for I had no waterproof shoes. So that was actually something that did happen back when I lived in Georgia. My sister Tori and our neighbors Matt and Drew were sledding down our hill. And I actually do remember, I think we did actually use a couple of garbage can lids to slide down, so we were pretty classy. So there's my old cringeworthy writing for this tag. Thank you for tagging me, Holly. This was a lot of fun to go through this old stuff. I actually grabbed this old notebook on the way out to a writing little write-in with one of my friends, and we read through a lot of it and had some really good laughs going through all that. So this has been a lot of fun. Everybody out there watching, go take a look at your old stuff, laugh at it, be proud of yourself for how far you've come, and please go ahead and do this even if I'm not tagging you. I do want to go ahead and tag Nadine Brandes and Lenn Woolston to do this. I don't think they've done this tag yet, and I would love for you guys to be able to enjoy some of your old writing and just get a few laughs out of it and to share it with all of us so we can have a good time too. So if I didn't tag you, please go ahead and do this. It's lots of fun, and tag me so that I can see it. I would love to see I would love to see you having a good time laughing at your old writing. And if you would like to see more silly writer tags or serious writer tags sometimes, and also my writing tips videos, please hit the subscribe button. I post new videos on Monday, and if you'd like to be alerted as soon as I post, you can hit that bell icon. And until then, good luck making words happen, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.